Welcome to another episode of On the Capo podcast. I am your host, David, and alongside, as in every week, almost every week, our good friend John. How you doing, John?
I'm doing well, David.
Thank you, sir. And our friend Ahmed is traveling, so we are hoping that at least he can join us for a portion of the show. Obviously, a little earlier than usual, and we're gonna try to speed through all the information that we have to make sure that all of us can sit and watch the Uruguay versus U.S. game, important game that is going to decide if the United States passes out of the group phase. So that's important. I would like to remind everybody that we are live at Davis Channel 76 on YouTube. You can also catch us live on X, on Facebook, on Twitch. We are on Instagram. We're on TikTok. We're on Threads. We're on Blue Sky, and you can listen to this on audio form on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. So thank you very much to the people that are going to listen to us later on, and the people that are going to watch us later on at Davis Channel 76. If you want to join us, this is the moment. Just send us a message. Prefer X, to be honest with you. It's the one that John is monitoring right now, and we'll bring you on. We're gonna try to speed through everything, so don't mind us if we give you just a short presence on the show. You can always comment as well. Well, John, Orlando City falls 4-2 at the Bronx, and obviously costly defeat. Let's start with that. Your impressions about the game.
First half was absolutely dreadful. I mean, first thoughts and prayers to Mason. I know he had a successful surgery, but for all those that followed the Alex Smith saga a couple years ago, the quarterback for the Redskins, successful surgery doesn't mean he's out of the woods. For those that don't know, Alex Smith had basically the same type of injury, compound fracture, the tib-fib compound fracture, and had a successful surgery. And I don't know the exact timeline of it, but I know basically the doctors went in at night before, they left him to fall asleep while he was still in the hospital. Everything worked great. They go back the next morning, and the surgical area has turned black, and they basically he was at risk of losing his leg because infection had taken hold that quick because of the severity of the surgery. So thoughts and prayers go out to Mason with that. When I saw it and I saw the replay, I instantly got sick to my stomach.
I know.
Got very emotional because that's two worst fears I have is that injury and a ruptured Achilles, because they're both just terrible injuries.
No, absolutely, John, and we're definitely gonna dedicate a particular amount of time towards that. But to round up New York City, DDT, and John, I don't know if are you frozen? Okay, he'll come back. DDT is scored on the 72nd minute, and then Duncan on 90+2. What looked like a respectable result, which would have been 3-2. Possibility of rescuing a point, which would have been fantastic. But unfortunately, when you put all the meat on the grill, like we always say, offensively, you obviously take away from the defense, and unfortunately, they score another goal, 4-2. Once Duncan was out, it was the MLS debut of Otero, a guy that I'm very high on. John and I have seen him play live. I think for MLS Next is a great asset, a great talent. But you come in a goal down in a pitch with such dimensions versus a team that you could argue better than Orlando, experiencing that pitch. It was a lose-lose situation for the young man. But as of right now, Mike Ramajo had informed that Otero will be our number 2 for the rest of the season. Pedro Galese is going to be back. Unfortunately, Peru was eliminated. Their last game was in Miami, so short commute. And yeah, we gotta get ready for Wednesday and quite possibly Saturday as well. So that's the situation with that. Nothing else to be add to add from my perspective. We, as you guys know, if you follow me for a long time, I actually created a video talking about how is an unfair advantage to play in New York City. And John, if you can find that picture, is there's a picture, a panoramic picture of what the pitch looks like when it's prepped for soccer or football. It's still a baseball stadium. And one of the things that I actually spoke with Tashok Indeli, as a matter of fact, a few years back, where he described the surface. He said the part that is the outfield is really hard because it's on top of clay, as you guys can see there at the top of your screen. And then the part that is in the infield, which is basically that bottom half of your screen. Thank you, John. That part feels like a carpet that is not attached to anything, and you sort of look spongy, and you lose your footing. And if you watch the replays, you see that New York City players tend to stay away from that section. Their attack is always on top of the screen when they're playing downwind, if you will, towards first base. And when they're playing towards the outfield, they use the complexity that's the whole size of the pitch. So they know these guys, again, they have to play 17 games in this monstrosity, and they do what they do. John, any comments about this? It's by the time it's all said and done, New York City will be by the time they get their stadium, will be 11 years that this league allow this to happen.
It just shows. I'll try to keep it quick since my internet's acting up. But kind of shows just the bias that the MLS has for certain teams that they think will be moneymakers, and us and a bunch of other clubs were made to have soccer specific stadium plans before coming into the league, and certain other teams that have came in with us, as NYCFC, Atlanta, weren't made to have those plans, and Miami as well, even though I guess if you want to call it the dumpster they have down in Fort Lauderdale soccer specific stadium. But it's the biasness. It's very much a home field advantage for them playing on such a small pitch. But that being said, the way they came out, Orlando came out on Friday, was inexcusable. You have to play kind of more of a tiki-taka style on a small pitch, which we didn't do the first half, did a little more of the second half. Once Kaczewski, I think I'm saying his name right, came in.
Had a great game, by the way.
I mean, he what he showed is he deserves to start, in my opinion. He's what the club needs, somebody to make those line-breaking passes, really put the pressure on the opposing defense, and he looked very solid. And we were texting in a group, matches past that we had been getting, the boys had been getting blown out on, they kind of quit on the match, which I feel like they absolutely did not do on Friday, and was I guess proud. They wore the badge with pride and showed that they deserve to wear the Orlando City crest on their chest, and we get everybody back now. I know that's kind of jumping a topic, but we get all of our international players back now because of due to international duty, and let's hope something turns around.
For sure, my friend. For sure. We have a comment by David Hunt, and there's another by Carlos Perez. So let's go about those.
David Hunt said, very unfortunate.
Absolutely, yeah.
And
Good
then Carlos
friend.
Perez said New York FC has Man City money, which is a lot, and that buys a lot of Garber's blessings. OC didn't have that big money ownership. Absolutely.
That's very true. And in fact, Inchi tells a story that when they went in 2015 to MLS HQ in New York, the delegation of New York City was welcome in huge applause, and they actually forgot to mention that Orlando City was in the building. So that tells you right there the level of disregard that they have for us. And the one thing that Garver understands is winning and lifting trophies. So good on Columbus that twice they had to humiliate that troll by making him go on the pitch at a city where he wanted the team to be moved out of, and have to hand the ultimate trophy of the league to the fan base and that club. And my respects to them. To finalize the situation, it was a tall task to go there and get points. We haven't won there since 2017. Also, New York City has the second best record in best home record in MLS, only behind LAFC. And that, my friends, they've been top three in the home record since they came into the league. Simply, in fact, the only team that has won more points at New York has been Orlando City. So it's something to put a feather to put on your cap. Talking about breaking passes, let's go about the situation with Duncan Maguire. For those that don't know, I work on surgical orthopedic equipment, and I happened to be at the RMC today. The conversation about Mason, some of the doctors and surgeons were talking about it, because obviously the hospital sponsors Orlando City. A lot of the players have been patients at the hospital. In fact, when they open the Jewett Surgical Orthopedics Tower there next to RMC. I don't know if you guys been. I have, obviously, because I installed some of their equipment. They had a life-size cutout of Martha, who, as you guys know, had some surgery in the past few years. Robin Jansen. And, when the injury happened, the EMT, biomedical engineer, and me already knew the road this young man had to take. And we actually had an image of this is from the X-ray machine at the emergency room in New York, where it shows the breakage. Basically, this is what will happen if you are a pedestrian, you get hit by a car. This is if somebody hits you with a baseball bat type of thing. You see the fibula and the what most people refer to as a shin, right? The shin bone, completely cracked. The reason why the reason why Mason was in such much pain is when the bone breaks. For those that are watching us, the leg tends to shrink, and is shrinking into those sharp edges of the bone. So that's why Mason was screaming in pain. His leg shrinks. It's stabbing the bone, stabbing into soft tissue. At that point, it's important to stabilize the leg, because you don't want to cut the artery that provides oxygenated blood into that section of the leg. So that's basically.
If anybody remembers, about 10 years ago, there was a Louisville player that got this type of break, stepping out, defending, and the bone actually, you actually saw bone go through the
Yes. Wow. I mean, those are the type of things you don't want to see. There's another image of the end result where you can see this one is an image by a C-arm, which is the equipment that your boy David works on. Already by looking at the image, I can see that they need to update their machine software. So that's on my boy there in New York City. I'm not gonna call him by name. But yeah, you can see it's the software is version 5 or 6. So anyhow, but the point is that you can see there what the reconstructive surgery that has happened. There's a rod, and there's some hardware to keep the leg stabilized. So happy to see that. And once we show that, John, I guess we can show the happy picture, which is.
I was going to show the one that you were talking about.
Oh yeah, go ahead, brother, please. Our boy Ahmed is not here tonight with the experience of fast fingers, There you go. That's what I was telling you guys for the guys that are watching us. That's road to recovery from now on. My understanding is he's being stabilized in New York. Once the doctors feel he is safe to travel, he will do so back to Orlando. And there's another image of him and his wife on that appears to be PCU or ICU, one of the two, on a striker bed. Excuse me if I know my medical equipment. That's what I gotta say. And so blessings to them. Mason, if you ever listen to this, I don't know why would you, but if somebody close to him, let him know that we're sending prayers and all the good vibes. Um, Before the injury, I felt that he was going to take Pedro's starting spot. In fact, the game against Chicago was a club record-setting game, 11 saves. So Mason, we're rooting for you, and we can't wait for you to come back. Um, Anything else to add, John?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. He was showing a lot, showing a lot of improvement from last year, and even the challenge that he made that ended up getting him injured. He showed that he had the confidence to go out and challenge that. He had to challenge that. A lesser keeper would have hesitated, and let the attacker gain possession of the ball, and probably in that situation put it in the back of the net. Sometimes the most unfortunate injuries happen in situations like that are, it's literally a freak accident. Mason's probably done that, several hundred times between trainings and in game. And he, this one time, just they happened to connect on, the perfect spot on each of their legs. Because the New York City player also
Mm-hmm.
had a compound fracture. I don't think it was as bad as Mason's, because I do recall he walked off the pitch. So I don't think it was as bad.
No, they carry him with him like hopping on one leg.
That's right. Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah. But like
it
you
wasn't
said, it
like
wasn't bad.
Mason's was a complete break. Maybe it was like a hairline fracture and, a complete, whatever. Either way, it's still, I don't wish that on anybody. That's got to be so
No, it
painful.
was really bad. And kudos to our medical staff. Second to none. Trust me, I miss my calling. That's what I wanted to do in life. I wanted to work in football, and those guys get to do it in real life. And um, they stay with him and they help him out. And like I said, we just can't wait for him to get home. Someone that has been to the hospital recently, I can tell you, last thing you want to do is be there. You want to go home, and especially being in another state, it's unbearable. We have two things to celebrate, actually. Facundo Torres and Cesar Araujo have reached the 100 appearances. Our 100 appearance club keeps growing, and that's something to be proud of. This shows that we have stability in the club, and also shows that we have longevity with the players. In the Inchi slash JOC slash Cries era, we didn't have men reaching this milestone, so it brings me a lot of happiness that these two young Uruguayans who were signed the same year, who made the news in Uruguay, because the Uruguayan press felt that these guys were too good for MLS. And now, well, we have seen them. They have played with the national team, and also they have been able to lift a trophy when we won the Open Cup. That made news in Uruguay, so I'm super excited about that. And on the pictures that I sent you, there's one with my new friend Danny. I told the story last week, and if you missed it, Ahmed invited me to sit with him in the East Club. And while the game was happening, I was hearing somebody speaking in Hebrew behind me, and I turned around. I just looked at him dead in the eye and said, "What club do you support in Israel?" And he said, "Maccabi Haifa." And of course, brothers for life after that. So I told Annie I was gonna put the picture on the show, and unfortunately last week I was by myself. I was a little overwhelmed with everything. So there you go, Danny. I put the picture, so everybody knows who you are. Let's see what else we have here, because the just want to go over the particulars. One thing that is critical is that I want to go over the cool stuff, John, because we are definitely going to go into some. OCB is going to be playing against Carolina Core this Sunday, and the tickets. Sit yourself down for safety. If you're driving, pull over to the side of the road, because what I'm about to tell you is going to shock you. $7, $7 per ticket. No excuse. No, including myself. I'm debating on what to tell my wife that I need to escape this Sunday to watch the boys down in Kissimmee. $7 against Carolina Core. So you guys got no excuse. Let's go support the boys, okay? Let's go do that. Sunday 7 p.m. Let's go and support the boys. Also, Pride won their game at Angel City FC 3-0. I mean, going through a war path, Pride right now, and they may be lifting a trophy in Orlando. Good for them, by the way. And you know what? I'm gonna be a hypocrite. I'm gonna show up to that game too. And I know people are gonna call me a fair weather friend, a fair weather fan, whatever. I don't care. If Pride makes it to the final, I'll be there. Gotta support our female team here in Orlando. They're going to be playing against Kansas City Current this Saturday. Tonight, Bolivia and Panama are fighting for a pass to the next round of Copa America here in our stadium. I saw the game between, I believe it was Chile and I can't remember who else they were playing. Canada. I'm going to tell you the truth, man. Seeing Kyle Larin and Richard Larea and what's the name of the center back?
Kamal Miller.
Kamal Miller, thank you. Back in Orlando, playing on the same pitch. I don't know. Makes you wonder how we let this talent go away, but it's what it is. Also, if you're gonna buy tickets, and my apologies for going so long. Also, if you're gonna be buying tickets in the month of July, they're gonna be tax free. Don't ask me. Tax free, you got me, right? So go buy your tickets. No excuses.
The $40 per ticket service charge or whatever it is.
Oh, you serious? They're gonna keep that? Of course, they're gonna keep that. The state is trying to do a solid to the Floridians, and Ticketmaster gotta get theirs, right? Always with a hand in the cookie jar. All right, guys. So we have the situation with Duncan, and this is coming. I gotta tell you guys what's been going on. This is from Mike Gramajo. I'm gonna read it for the sake of saving time.
Tom Bogert reported it first, though.
Oh, he did. Okay. Yes. So can you mind reading that, brother?
Yeah, sure. From Tom on X, sources Knuckle McGuire has rejected the last contract proposal from Orlando City. From what I understand, last means latest, not like their final one.
Right.
Players' focus is Europe. Olympics coming up this summer too. Orlando's stance is clear. They say McGuire is not for sale and want to keep him. McGuire is under contract. McGuire's contract is under team control through 2026.
Wow. What you put on that, man? A lot of people are saying this is Laring and Mueller all over again.
It's different with Mueller because we didn't start contract talks with him until his last year, going into the last year of his contract. Laring, I'll be honest, because of how I was moving back and forth, I wasn't able to follow exactly what happened with him.
And if I may interrupt you, basically what it was they wanted to extend his contract one more year, and he was like, no, I already gave you 3 years. I already finished my contract. Extensions are not recognized by FIFA, by the way. And also, it happens that on his third year, while this young man is scoring goals, double-digit goals, he's making $150,000 at the time. Meanwhile, they bring Dom Dwyer for $2.5 million, and he was like, you know what? you're bringing this guy up for nostalgia. I'm scoring, doing everything I got to do, and you don't even offer me that money. I'm out of here. So go ahead. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
John.
But so both situations it's a little bit different. There's still 2.5 full seasons left that the club controls Duncan's contract, and they're starting negotiations now. I said from the beginning, basically from the beginning, if he doesn't want to be here, see ya, get rid of him.
Yep.
We want players that want to be here, but at the same time, what other options do they have right now? Nobody else. Faku's got 4 or 5, whatever it is, and one penalty with including one penalty PK goal. But it kind of goes back to when DK was here, and I was ticked they let DK go. I mean, if you want to build a team and build a culture, you have to keep key players here. No matter basically no matter the cost. And DK was actually a lot younger than Duncan is. I think he was 3 years. He's 3 years.
Yeah.
Was 3 years younger when he was here. He's the same exact age as Duncan. And I felt that they could have kept him for another year or two, built him, and sold him for 15 or 20 million potentially, because of how he was showing, and he could have progressed on some of the finer details rather than his feet being put to the fire, in a promotion battle in the championship or what have you. But with Duncan, I mean, at the end of the day, if the price is right, I find it hard to believe the Wolves aren't going to sit there and pocket that money, since that's what they do best. And, it's obviously not winning games.
No, for sure. And to add to the situation, like you said, we need to keep people that want to be here, and also we gotta make money. I repeat it again. This is a guy that would pull his name out of a hat. We didn't help build his career. He's not from the academy. He's not from OCB. It's just we got lucky that our college scouting network continues to pay off big dividends with DK. The situation, if we can revisit that, was you basically had what's his name, uh, Taylor 12 man screaming like he's in the middle of an insane asylum. You gotta sell now, you gotta do it. Why can't he win trophies here? Why do we have to sell him? What are we gonna do with that money? Nothing. We didn't actually. Actually, no. It's not true. We actually grabbed that money, reinvested it in Facundo Torres. But the fact of the matter is, my friends, unfortunately, DK probably went to Europe way too soon. He's been hurt many, many times, and his team has failed to get promoted out of the championship into the Premiership in England. And if he has another year like the one that he has last year, they're probably gonna let him go. I mean, his best chance is probably finding another championship team, probably going loan to League One. Stevenage, baby, Stevenage. You already played at the stadium. They loved you. They took pictures because of me. That's right. Anyways, that said, perhaps maybe going to another country, another country's first division will do him good. Maybe Scotland, Netherlands,
He
something like
always
that.
has a home in Orlando.
That's true. That's true, my friend. That's true. In fact, we have seen how sometimes players come back to MLS and get the rebound. Joaquini definitely did that in St. Louis. He didn't here. He didn't do it here. Here he couldn't. He couldn't get minutes on the pitch over Kyle Smith, the Kyle Smith, and it is what it is. But as of right now with Duncan, I was gonna add. This is from Mike Gramajo. Notes from this morning. Pedro Ellis and Wilder Cartagena are back from Copa America. Ramiro Enrique gets a green card and will be freeing an international spot. What are we doing with that international spot? Only God knows. Now I'm on record that if we are free an international spot to sell it to somebody else, then I'm gonna be destroying my TV, kicking my dog, and making my kids cry, and end up on my mother-in-law's. So there you go.
Well,
But
David, I mean, the people have already said that the front office isn't doing anything this summer. Orlando's not really going to be that active.
yeah,
And,
buddy.
like I said a couple minutes ago, what do the Wolves do best? They pocket money. And, I've been preaching this since the beginning of the season when we didn't sign a number 10 that, the
You
Wolves
sure
were
did.
using this as a cash cow, just trying to cash out on it. And I was explaining it to somebody, one of my friends, who doesn't like soccer, lives in the Northwest. He's from California. If you're a San Francisco Giants fan, he has a podcast called Even Your Dynasty. He didn't know I was plugging him, but he I was explaining it to him, and I'm like, they came in and 2020, 2021, I don't remember at this point when it was, promising championships and exciting players and exciting play. And sure, the first off-season, year and a half, they brought in a couple young guys. But since we had that summer of Facu, Ojeda, and Gonzalez and Irujo, who else have we brought in that we can be excited about? Muriel. Yeah,
Luca
that's a pretty
Petrasso,
good
of
signing.
course.
Ladero, an icon of MLS. Ooh. Meanwhile,
10 years ago, maybe.
you got I can't think of his name now. The French striker that's going to LAFC. Giroud.
Yeah, there you go.
Olivier Giroud. That's somebody to get excited over. You know,
Well,
somebody that's starting for a team that was in the Champions League, in the Euro League, not a guy that barely saw any time on the pitch for Atalanta that was lucky to be in the Euros.
mm-hmm.
And they haven't done anything. The only thing they've done is they've done upgrades in the stadium. Like I told my buddy, cool, we got local restaurants in there. Good for the local restaurants, but you know who else is pocketing from that? The Wilfs. The club is. The Wilfs.
Oh, listen, they're making money. Listen, the games that they have from Copa America, which, by the way, congratulations to our club for hosting this incredible tournament. It brings me a lot of pride because, like I was telling John before we started the show, the Chilean press couldn't stop throwing praises at the stadium, the quality of the stadium, the quality of the pitch, the way that how it's configured. I was very excited because we got to throw our name out there. So maybe we go after a Chilean player that it's good. And Orlando City, I saw their stadium. Maybe I can see myself playing there. I would like to finish all these notes before we move on to our last topic for the night, or a few topics, and also read your comments. I'm aware that you guys been waiting for that. Other notes, this from our friend Mike Romano, fullback. Um, Luca Petrasso is back from his loan, third division Italian team. Will take to wait until window opens and have his ITC to get officially added back to the roster. But I did say Petrasso will be an asset to the team going forward and has been training with the group. Right now, regarding the goalkeepers, Gales is back. Javier Otero is going to be our number 2 moving on. And Pareja said team will look internally for a third goalkeeper, OCB Academy. And I believe that's that. I just got a message from the big man himself, Ahmed Salim. So he should be in about 20 minutes, hopefully to take us home. All right. Well, with that said, St. Louis just fired a manager, and this club joins Atlanta, Nashville, Dallas, and San Jose as teams that have fired their manager. Thoughts, my friend?
It shows that St. Louis wants to win. They care about winning. their club, their front office has, a winning attitude and says, if, cool, you did good for us last year. You got us first in the West, and I think they were third in the Shield, but you're not doing it for us this year, so bye-bye. It's what we, you and I were asking for the same thing for Poppy last year when we started the season off what we thought was so bad. We didn't foresee and never would have wished for this season to happen, what's been going on so far.
Mm-hmm.
They're only 2 points below us. And, they yeah, it's just baffling that other clubs are making these moves, and this is happening. I got to take this phone call real quick, David. I'll be right back.
Go ahead, brother. I would like to briefly remind you guys where these teams are in the are on the table right now. So let's look at St. Louis. St. Louis is 12 with 19 points, and their home record better than ours, 3-3-5. They have failed to win on the road this year, and they are 0-4-5. Dallas, another team, the fire manager, they're 11th in the West with 20 points, with a record of 5-10-5, and at home, better than us, 5-3-2. They have failed to win on the road, 7-3. We look at Atlanta back in the East. And Atlanta right now is in a better position than us. Actually, they are on the so-called wild card game, 24 points, 6-8-6. They have a better home record than us, 4-5-2. On the road, abysmal, 2-3-4. And let's see, Nashville. Nashville is actually making playoffs at the moment after firing their manager. With 26 points and very good home record, 4-3-5. On the road, 2-3-3. We have the San Jose. It will be the last on my list, and San Jose is dead bottom in the league with a 3-15-2 with a home record of 2-7-1 and on the road 1-8-1. Like you said, John, the people that want to win, they want to win now. St. Louis had an incredible first season, right? They had an incredible first season. They did very well. They stole Giacchini from us. The guy was a superstar, so much so that he was immediately sold back to Europe. And now on year 2, they didn't give him time to gel. They didn't say, hey, last year we finished at the top of the table. Last year we did good. No, none of that. They didn't say none of that. What they did is they went and they decided to chop heads because they want to win right now. And John, if you don't mind reading the comments, since they're piling up, and then we're gonna retake this topic.
Trying to remember. There we go.
Okay, yeah, there you go, brother.
Torep 1, if he's not happy and wants to leave, let him go. Gio Reyna is becoming available. Oh, and hashtag Poppy out.
There you go.
Carlos Perez, Wilfs would sell that DP spot even to Miami.
My goodness.
He continues, Wilfs don't see this team as a sports team. They see it as a medieval times, Gatorland type of thing, a place to kill time between Disney and Universal.
Sadly, Carlos, you probably nailed it, brother.
Jim D, considering not renewing my season tickets next year, I feel like if I do, I'm just being a punk at this point. I've had them for 10 years. I'm in the same boat, Jim.
Yeah, Jim.
For 10 years. I've had them for 2, but been here a long time.
Let me see. I 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. 6 years for me. And Jim, and this is something that I said on Then After Dark this past Friday. I said, I talk a lot of big game, but I just love going to the games. I love interacting with friends. I love I had a good time regardless. So in that respect, am I a happy clapper? Perhaps. But the team knows that I get so much joy and happiness from going to the games that I say, oh, I'm not renewing, but at the end of the day, probably I'm just gonna hit send on that email. Go ahead, Jim.
And then the last one, Ray Widener-Lodero on a team who loses shape so often. Not necessarily a good stat to always lead in distance traveled. I mean, I've said it. That's my dad. So him and I talk about Lodero's tendency to hang out on that left touch line all the time in the attacking third, and then we never have relief when the ball does get into the corner to rotate it around the outside of the box. And like he said, there is a reason he leads the league in distance traveled, or most matches anyway. He leads in.
John, this is amazing. Your father went from not knowing how to comment on the show to making comments and nailing. I was like, oh wow, that's a very in-depth comment, and it happens to be your dad. So Ray, thank you for that comment, because I mean it's true, man. I mean, listen, I think then after that with our friends of Orlando Lions, then last Friday was people coming to terms that Daddy went for cigarettes to the corner store and he's not coming back. That's I think we all agree that making playoffs is football is not coming home, folks, unless we have a road to Damascus moment with our players, and we pull through. And if we pull through and we make the playoffs, I'm gonna eat all those words. Listen, John, myself, and Ahmed had this conversation many times before. Our obsession is to see our team win, to see our team make playoffs, to see our team lift trophies. And I guarantee you 99.9% of our fan base saw what happened last year, and we were like, we're going to break legs this year. And no pun intended. And the fact of the matter is that, John, we are nowhere near the expectations that we had. And
yeah, I mean, David, it had to make you laugh on Den After Dark when they brought up the stuff that you and I brought up, the statistics with Poppy a year ago. And it's like, we've been talking about this now for 2 years. Yes, again, they went on a great run. But everybody and their brother that was a critic that wasn't on the bandwagon, as far as like the national media that wasn't on the bandwagon, was like, no, this is a one-off year, because you look at the advanced stats and the goals over expected goals and all of that stuff. The team greatly outperformed what they should have been last year. Mm-hmm. You look at what they should have been on those advanced stats, they should have been about 7th or 8th place.
I agree. And I have a comment.
One other thing that happened, and then after dark, to go back to the whole Lodero thing, I just didn't feel like going into it because I could have went for 45 minutes on it.
Yeah.
Was, the whole issue with the defense is when we are so exposed on the attack because we only attack down the one side. And when we do attack down on the one side, especially in a 4-4-2, when we only attack on the one side, we have a center back, a left back, and our left winger, and sometimes one of our strikers within 10 or 15 yards of each other, right on the penalty area extended, between the penalty area and the touchline. In that 15 square yard box. Well, guess what? We send a cross and it gets headed out. Their midfielder gets it. Then Araujo's left out hanging to dry. Does he let that guy carry it up? Or does he put pressure on them one pass and then one of their other midfielders brings it up and he has 30, 40 yards to run with it? And then all of a sudden, oh, guess what? Our one of our center backs creeped up, and all of a sudden the wings are left exposed because we're so out of shape, because our one central midfielder, who's supposed to be an icon of the MLS and this great player that's supposed to be our star number 10, creating all these goals, is sitting there hanging out on the left touch line in our attack.
Hey, listen. Enough's been said, and I would like to read a comment sent to me on Facebook by Bob Fish. And I this was in response to something I had said previously. I said, I'm not superstitious, We need all the help we can get. And he says, I've written it off. I don't feel confident, but I will change the formation, much less figure this out. And being honest, squeaking in at last place into the postseason is an insult. That's rewarding playing like shambles and not deserved an embarrassment at every level. And I sort of agree there because I had mentioned this in the discussion group on Facebook, and somebody told me we're doing good. We're doing good. We finished second last year, and the year before that we won the Open Cup. And I'm like, is this person, using his capabilities here? Because football is about the here and now. If you guys watch the extra episodes that we did with Dan Barrich, the English Lion, and our good friends Taylor Williams from Orlando City, UK. These are people that are exposed to culturally exposed to great football. This man can't drive 10 minutes without hitting a football club, and they support Orlando City. And when they say the things they say, some people need to shut up and listen. And I saw a comment about that. And when Dan and Taylor were with us, they let it be known. The fact of the matter is that we are disappointed. A disappointment. We still have time to save the season, but what are we doing? Go ahead, John, with the comment.
Oh, I thought you mentioned his comment. I was just bringing it up so everybody else
can. Oh no, yeah, go ahead. We haven't mentioned those from Jim down. Those are new.
Jim D. Anyone listen to English Lions video where he discusses how the team no longer believes they're just going through the paces? I think he is spot on.
Absolutely, and I speak with Dan and Taylor on a daily basis. On DM obviously, because sometimes if you're too real online, people will jump down on you. And with all honesty and not betraying the intimacy of our conversation, they just don't see an out. To be honest, go ahead.
Tore Up One said Robin's game is dropped for maybe the pressure of captaincy is too much, and I have to say Schlegel has calmed down and playing better. I do want to comment on that because that's another thing that on the Lions on Den After Dark that I wanted to say that I have in my notes here to say. So Robin, yes, he's not doing as well as he did last year. But how many times last year, especially when the club went on that run, was he having to play defense with his sternum facing his own goalpost? Not very often. His rear end was facing the goalpost a lot last year. The worst position you can be in playing defense is moving towards your own goal. And there is a lot of times that both center backs are having to play like that. And guess what side what side of the field Robin Janssen plays on? Our left side. Guess what side's the cause of it being out of shape? Our left side, because of our central midfielder. Does that mean all the blame's off of Robin? No, there's times where, yes, he should do better, yada, yada, yada. But, he just, to me, it's not all on Robin Janssen. It's 100% on Ladero and his unwillingness to keep the shape of a 4-4-2 and stay. He doesn't have to. It's professional soccer. It's not U10 soccer where the coach puts the cones up and you stay in your lane. You can move around and stuff, but I mean, this man is literally sitting there pinned on the left touch line, supposed to be a central midfielder.
Yeah,
and it's just like that being that out of shape with a 4-4-2 and having one midfielder to stop the counterattack or the transition, especially when we like to overlap with our fullbacks as much as we do. That means a lot of times the other team, if they break the transition point, that is usually Araujo or Felipe at this point, then that means it's a bunch of attacking players that are typically pretty fast against their two center backs. And I said it last year, we don't have very fast center backs. With Brekalo, we do. Brekalo is faster than both Janssen and Schlegel. But yeah, I don't think you can blame it all on Janssen.
If you can, no, absolutely. If you can take care of the last two comments, so we
Yeah.
can let our good friend Ahmed join us.
And then Ray Widener said, and then McGuire has to run back and stop the counter in our defensive third if he's able to make it
Absolutely,
back.
Ray. Yeah.
And
And
then
then,
Score Rep 1 said, at Ray, you are correct.
yeah, your dad with the zingers, brother. I'm not knocking it out of the park. No pun intended. All right, so we got the man from the from the land of the River Nile. What's happening, man, brother? I'm assuming that you just landed just recently.
Hello?
Eh, Yeah,
Can you
we
guys
can
hear
hear
me?
you, brother. Yeah, for
All
sure.
right, cool. How you guys doing? Sorry about that.
Good.
Doing great, brother. We just went over the vast amount of events that have happened the past week. Mason's injury, Duncan trying to leave the club, St. Louis firing another coach. That's one, two, three, four, five for the season. We spoke about New York City, OCB this Sunday, $7 tickets.
Yeah, I know, man. That's crazy.
Yeah, bro, that's insane. We'll talk about Orlando Pride, and basically setting the world on fire. And right now, we are, about to talk about Toronto and DCU. So let's do this. That way, I can run and use the restroom because I'm an old man that has been drinking water for 51 minutes. So guys, this Wednesday, our boys are going up to Toronto. Last time we went there, we snatched points. Um, Toronto this year, where are they in the standings? Toronto is uh, eighth after they were hot for a minute, and right now they have fallen out of favor. So it's gonna be interesting to see what kind of Orlando City visits Toronto. Um, so with that said, I would like to read to you guys our history with them, and somehow the game escaped live podcasting. You gotta love it. Up there, no, jeez. Anyways, so we're gonna be heading over there. Expectations about the game, and when I get back, I will give you guys the stats. Go.
Perfect. So you can go ahead first, Ahmed. I'm about talked out tonight.
I mean, listen, we're talking about Toronto, right? Because it cut out for me.
The game Wednesday night. Yep.
Honestly, I mean, I my expectations are out the door after the last few games. I mean, we're consistent in a sense, right? With the exception of the game we played at home. Um, I don't know, man. I don't know what to say. I really don't. We
Yeah.
we just need to get our stuff together. When I was watching the last game with David, I was like, wow, we got ourselves together. We got our stuff straight. And then I looked at the table and I'm like, oh, okay, they're just above us one spot, so it made sense. So I'm not expecting my expectations are not high. For me, it's not about winning, how we're winning. It's about how we're playing. We were talking about making playoffs. Honestly, I don't even want to make playoffs right now, because if we make playoffs, what's going to happen is we're going to make playoffs and we're going to be out of the playoffs. So what good is it? We're I can't even believe I'm saying that.
There's no consequences, my friend. There's no consequences for playing a crappy season. Because again, people will be like, "Well, look what we have.
We made playoffs." People say, "Look, we made the playoffs. We made the playoffs." We're gonna make a deep run. What's a deep run in the playoffs for us? Like first round? I mean, what?
for us, it's a second round because we've never made it further.
I mean, come on, man.
Yeah, which is the Eastern semifinals.
Yep.
Yeah, we talk about that the game on Wednesday, and I want to say, you know what? Maybe that the guys will be motivated. There's just no consistency. You can't really say one way or the other. I mean, there is consistency. I know when I say that, you guys say, yeah, we're consistently playing bad. But there are times when we surprise ourselves. But I don't see it happening. I don't see it happening on Wednesday. I don't know if you guys do.
I would like to
I want to see it.
no, for sure, brother. The stats here: Toronto 9 wins, 3 draws, and 8 wins for Orlando. So there's a possibility for Orlando to tie the series or sink further down. Now, the last 3 games that we've had against them, we defeated them on the 4th of July 4-0. We went to their house and beat them 2-0. And then last time they were here in Orlando, we defeated them 2-1. So no, I'm sorry, they won 2-1 in Orlando. So I mean, it's a give and take of what kind of Orlando City is going to show up. I think if we want to move forward and in try to get ourselves in a place where we can say, okay, well, we're gonna make the playoffs and we're gonna make something out of them. Then you have to beat Toronto. You have to beat Toronto, and you have to beat DC this weekend. We have some comments, my friend, if you don't mind.
Yeah, definitely. Messiah Rosa, Insigne, and Bernadeschi are finally playing good together. And then he asked if Sario and Larea are still going to be out, correct? Yes, they should. I don't know why they want to be because Canada moved on, correct? Yes, Canada did move on. So they should still be out. And then, yep, El Popo and Cartagena are back. But, yeah, man, I mean, Ahmed just went and just to keep you up on what we were doing, David, Ahmed went and gave his opinion, and I completely agree with Ahmed.
Okay, awesome.
I mean, cool, we beat Chicago 4-2.
It felt nice.
Yeah, but then we come back and lose the next week, which the scoreline actually flattered us a little bit. Should have been 3-1 or 4-1.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I don't know what New York City was doing with our second goal.
Yeah,
but the fact it comes to the fact of the matter, we're closer to last place, just as close to last place in the East as we are to the playoff line. So cool, we're ranked 11th right now, but we're 3 points off the playoffs and 3 points ahead of last place. Not a good position to be in. If we were 6, 7, 8 points off ahead of last place, okay, yeah, that's not too bad. But the bottom half of the East is very congested right now, and it's just like, we're not that good. We're not a good team. We have quality players that aren't playing quality soccer.
I agree.
And until they start playing quality soccer, they're not going to go on any sort of streak, any sort of unbeaten streak, any sort of winning streak.
For sure, my friend.
Wednesday on a short week, it's not looking good.
Well, we gotta win, man. We gotta win. We have no other choice.
I hope. It's more turned into I expect to win.
Mm-hmm.
No, I hope we win now.
Yeah.
Anymore. I hope we just draw. I hope we don't lose.
No, absolutely. We have limited time. We're approaching the end of the show. But we play at home. Our trip up to the north of the border, and we're going to be having DCU visiting us. Right now, the series 7 wins for Orlando, 9 for DC, 2 draws. These teams, they either beat each other up or nothing. The 2 draws, they hardly come by any time. So last 3 matchups, we beat them in DC 3-2. Before that, they beat us 3-1 at home, and before that, we had a tie in Washington. Fact of the matter is, we gotta win. It's gonna be a special night. We're gonna be inducting Kaká into the Ring of Honor for Orlando City, and the game that we should have won, the one we brought all the USL stars, the fans were all motivated, ended up in a loss. So we have to win when we are commemorating good things. We had a man who was our captain, Ballon d'Or, won everything in Europe, world champion. For those that like to say, oh, well, he didn't he didn't win anything like unlike Messi. Well, I got news for you. He didn't have anybody in the team, and there was no money to do that. So Kaká to me exemplifies a lot of good things on and off the pitch, and is somebody that has been around to support us in the city, and I think he deserves a win on a day where we're commemorating his accomplishments. That's it, guys. Saturday. What should we expecting? Go ahead, Ahmed, and then John.
Like you said, I think we need to expect a win because of the night that it is. Because if you really think about it, you're honoring this guy and you're inducting him. Uh, you don't want that to go in a loss. How would that go off? That are they doing his induction before or after the game? Do we
I
know?
believe it's after.
Oh, okay. That could turn. They might want to consider doing it before the game. To be honest,
Hey, man. You
you know,
know,
I mean,
Do it at halftime, then we won't have time. They haven't. They'll be up 1-0 and haven't blown the lead yet.
it's sad that we're saying this. Honestly, I mean, you could listen to us and say, "Oh, you guys are just like you guys are the negative ones. You're never happy." But you can't watch the team and tell me, "Yes, this is what we're doing. This is how we should be playing." And if you do, you need to get your eyes examined because there's just nothing. There's just I don't know, man. Uh, yeah,
what are we expecting on Saturday, or you are expecting on Saturday?
I
I'm
mean, it's a
expecting
home
them to
match.
come out to win. I'm expecting them to come out to win. But I've been expecting them to come out to win, and that's gone nowhere. So I don't know what else to say. I'm running out of choices.
I mean,
mean,
we have no choice. We have to win or nothing.
yeah.
6 points will put us in playoff contention once again. And the teams that we're playing are teams that are ahead. That are Eastern teams ahead of us on the table. So take defeat. I mean, this is going to be like, for those that still remember, the night Michael Jackson premiered
Did
the
the moonwalk.
moonwalk. I don't know about you guys, but I think I was like 8 at the time when that happened. The windows on my house blew up. I was shocked, and perhaps you guys are like, well, there's nothing. You gotta remember, this was an era where there was only 3 channels on the TV. Okay, and for a kid in Puerto Rico, the world was very, very, very small. So again, those that live through that era know what I'm talking about. We have to have a blockbuster moment that 10 years from now fans go, that's the moment when we turn it around. So if we can read the last few comments, and then we'll be wrapping up the show.
Miss Ayel Rosa said it's that damn Fisher Price field New York
Absolutely.
City has. Jim D said, Kaká, our new general manager. I said that weird. Our new interim manager.
Who knows?
Ray Widener says, in my opinion, McGuire wants to be on the U.S.
I agree 1,000%.
team. Staying in Orlando will be a hindrance to that. Any soccer player's dream is to play in a World Cup.
1,000%. I mean, yeah.
And then Miss Rosa also said, Kaká put us on the map globally. And that time I heard stories of people in the streets of Brazil wearing Orlando City kits.
That is very true. I actually experienced that myself back in when I was traveling. I went to DC for work, and the guy, the Uber driver was Brazilian. So I said, "Oh, I guess you support DC United." He said, "No, Orlando City," and I was like, "What?" Clutching my pearls. I was like, "What? Are you kidding me? Why? Because of Kaká?" And he's like, "No, because of Flavio." Flavio's still a rock star in Brazil. Flavio's still a rock star in Brazil. He's still doing podcasts and talking about the experience of selling the team, creating the team, and all that. Those guys from that ownership group that have gone to do big things. I believe Alex Leitao is CEO in a Brazilian team back home. Flavio walked away he doubled his fortune by selling Orlando City. I mean, the guy made out like a bandit. In the US, he's a millionaire, but back in Brazil, if you translate dollars into reals, he's a billionaire there. So he's somebody that when he speaks, people shut up and listen. And we should be proud that we are associated to a man like that, a strong businessman. He says in interviews, just so you know, that he didn't want to sell to just anybody. That he sat down with the Wolves and he felt that the club was going to be in good hands. Of course, I know everybody talks about all the shortcomings, this and that. Personally, I'm eating crow when I heard that Mark Wolf was going to be our owner and CEO. Based on my experience dealing with him in Jewish organizations in the United States and seeing his life story, his family life story, I thought this guy is going to get forward. But, like many people have said before, perhaps they're learning that this is not the NFL, and perhaps are learning that we are not the customer they have in Minnesota. That the football fan for the round ball it has an expectation and treats the club as part of something that he owns rather than something that he gets to do for a few minutes a week. So with that, my friends, hopefully our national team gets performs a miracle, moves forward. If they don't, they need to fire. They need to fire Greg. I'm sorry. It's too much time. We gotta move forward. And this Wednesday, let's go support the boys going to Toronto. And Saturday, let's go and support our club. And remember, OCB $7, and parking is free. So let's make it over there. Ahmed, I was going to ask you for a few words before you left. If you can come back, that would be great. John, if you can read the last two comments and then our final words. We got 5 minutes.
Carlos Perez says Kaká did get his coach's license, I believe. I think
Okay.
you're right. I feel like I heard that somewhere as well. And then Misael Rosa says, great pod, guys. As always,
brother.
have a good night. Vamos Orlando, and hopefully we win tonight. I believe that we will win. I believe that we will win.
Amen. Last words, Mr. Ahmed.
Man, let's just win. Let's just win, or let's play well. Let's play to win.
Absolutely.
Let's play to win.
And on those super excited and inspirational words, we would like to remind everybody that we'll be here next Monday at our regular time, 9 p.m. We are here rooting on the boys. Let's get those 6 points because quite honestly, we have no other choice. And for the United States, we are sending all our love and affection. And I already have my spot on the couch ready to watch them. And we're going to be saying goodbye the only way we know how, by reminding everybody that football is played on grass, not on paper, that football is cruel and unpredictable, that football is a battle of talent and an ounce of luck. And if you haven't cried for joy or anger, and we may have to do that tonight, you really football. From Ahmed, myself, and John, may God bless you. And as always, vamos, Orlando!